hear me here? If you want. Thank you again for allowing me to do the work this far. It did start off as
any ongoing project that we have a major significant realm. Some other things are still in the working stage of getting people, but in that process, evaluated the courthouse project and took a tour of the building of Mr. McKensie, who has overseen the project since about January of 2013. That's when the project began, January and February, regarding the dome renovation and some exterior work on the building. At that time, during that tour, we discussed what Mr. McKenzie's plans were for the building going forward and what had been done to date. And I think that each of you has probably taken that tour since then and seen some of the work that has been done. I don't know how many of you have been on the roof, but a lot of good work has taken place to date, including some interior work on the former finance office and former county manager's office. And on that date, I had pulled a revenue and expenditure report from Ms. Ledford in the finance office to see how we were doing on budget and how things were proceeding. And that report showed that $37,000 was left. Now you'll see on page 2 of your packet, outside of the email, a correction of that. Darlene Reinhardt was out of town that week, and on the Monday that she got back in the new year, there had been some money from a different fund that had not been moved over, so it was actually $87,979 left. Did not know that at the time. But based on that tour and talking with Mr. McKensie, I have had concerns with having only $37,000 left. At the time it was a little over 40. There were some other expenses that weren't processed yet. That we would end up in a situation where we would run out of the funds that had been appropriated, which have come to a total of $280,000 in the last 2 years. Mid-room or mid-project, and have to get more money. So to ensure that we finish that in a timely manner, and my concerns are slightly eased by knowing there's $87,000 there, but they're still there. And knowing that the rest of New Year's week was going to be taken off, so we're looking at really last week and this week for pausing, I asked Mr. McKensie to stop and gather more information on costs going forward. Mr. McKensie, which you will see, has provided that. He had provided prior to that a lot of the narrative information about the project, which is in your packet, some history of it, and he's, of course, here if you all wish to ask him questions. Narrative on what has been done today, as well as what can be done going forward. Beyond that, he has provided additional estimates on what the work would take to complete. This is the most documentation, other than for every expenditure, receipts are brought in, everything is done as it should be done there, timesheets for these folks. This is the only thing that I've been able to find regarding a plan for the building. So it sort of concerned me as the county manager that we have a project going and we don't know exactly at the time what that's likely to cost and how we can finish that in the appropriate way and determine whether we find the money or how that goes. So that pause was taken at that time. For your advice and chance to look at these things. But there has not been that that I have seen any sort of definition of the project beyond the initial proposal from January 24th, 2013 for exterior work. I have not been able to find in files, and I've asked Mr. Lamberson, and he has provided me what he had. Anything that says we're going with a punch list of any sort, any list or project description and the amount of money estimated, things like that. That concerned me until you all are able to look at that and say that you're okay with proceeding in that manner. I had trouble continuing to authorize that, particularly if we could end up sort of mid-project and the only way to get out was to appropriate more money, if there was a way we could do that with maintenance later. clauses, in my mind, so that we can get a better handle on the remaining costs. Mr. McKensie has included a good estimate on how that would work, and it's a good starting point. But at that, that's sort of the history of it, where we come from, and I'll leave it to any questions that you have.
So how much has been spent year to date?
Year to date.
Year to date, total.
$192,020.69. That includes about $40,000 on the boiler, but that comes from the same pot of money. But Mr. McKensie had no control over that. It's not part of his scope of work. He has done, if you look, the dome repairs, the paint, some structural reinforcements inside the dome, recovering columns out front, pressure washing paint, trim on the front, a couple of other things, several other things.
This was before my time on the board, so I may ask a question that someone else will have to answer. How did we select, and I had the tour, Doug gave us a tour last Friday. How did we select the contractor? Did that go through the normal bid process?
I was not working for the county at that time. I know the minutes show that the decision was made at the time, I don't remember if it was January or February of 2013. I have not found a file that shows any bidding paperwork. You know, the bidding statute says that anything under $80,000 a project, the statute doesn't require that. Anything above $80,000 and lower than $500,000 requires informal bidding, where you would get at least 3 quotes. And then anything above $500,000 requires the sealed bidding process. The initial project was well below the $80,000, and then as time went by, additional money was appropriated to the project. I don't have anything in minutes or documents that show how the definition of the project changed, but I do, we can follow the money trail fairly easily of when that money was appropriated, when it came from different areas over the last 2 years. So I don't know, I have not found any bidding information, and that's what I know about the bidding law.
Well, we have a limited amount of funds that we need to look at. We need to spend wisely in order to get as much done to this fine courthouse as we can to get it updated to where things in despair can be fixed. We spend a lot of money so far. There's good work has been done. I don't see that that's a problem. It concerns me that do we have enough money to finish? Do we have enough money to get to where it can be used, and all the area every room can be prepared to be used? That's the core.
And we're looking well beyond that too, because this building, as we all know, the funds that have been put in are likely minimal compared to what it would take to do this building like I think we'd all like to see. And going forward and looking at how you do that, and whether that's including an architect or including some sort of design of some sort, that lists that out so that we can look at what that will be and what increments that could be funded, and how that looks against other things that need funding in the county. So, but clearly, there are a number of things. This room hasn't been touched, and we're all sitting here now. I know we're looking at things that could be done in this room and in the remainder of the building. It's an operating courthouse. Our restrooms have issues, and Mr. McKensie has a good scheme on how you could fix those rooms to allow them to accessible for a public building in this day and age. But we really, in my mind, need to figure out what it is we're wanting to do in order to figure out the costs that we're able to cover and what timeline we're going to do that.
I've got several observations. Everybody will indulge me. First of all, thank you for the tour. Okay, it was enlightening. Thank God this old building was built well, because she's been bastardized for 50 years. Bottom line. It's like a lot of other buildings in the county, we've neglected them. Okay? And it is time to fix them. It's time to develop a facilities maintenance and operation plan. That's a bigger picture, but this building is just typical, like the gym on the island, like the rock building at Mars Hill. And we need to get our head around that big picture, but also we've got to get our head around the courthouse, because we're in the middle of this. The clerk of the court's offices have to be finished. They need to be finished to a standard that we want the rest of this building someday to be finished to. We also, because none of us here are professionals, and I really appreciate Doug's work, because I think it's probably the best work we've done on this building in those 50 years. All right? But just as you suggested, I think we have to take a look and get some professional help on this. We expect that from the school system. Why should we expect it less from the other county properties? This is the biggest investment we protect, folks. And we know that we need to do additional work on this building. It's got 4 generations of electric, including knob and tubes still lying on the walls. Has 3 meters on it. 3 electric meters. A heating and air system that is, I don't know, the joy of somewhere, but not here. And plumbing and all sorts of other issues. So I don't want to jump ahead, because I want everybody to have a chance to discuss. I think I would suggest, if this is agreeable with everyone, that we also have to take a look at the historical part of this building. Some of us have discussed that. We want to preserve it, but we do want to continue to preserve its historical characteristics as well. And barring somebody winning the lottery and giving us $30 million to build a new courthouse, we're going to keep using this thing for a long time to come. So my thoughts would be, and that's not necessarily emotion, I'm just carrying the conversation over here, that we continue for a short period of time this time out. That we get with our building inspector, we get with Ryan, we get with the county manager and possibly even our attorney, again, involved in this, but to look at the type of professional assistance we need in moving forward. And we are to a critical point on this building to make sure we finish it correctly and do it right, and in whatever phases we need to do moving forward. But I think it's also a poster child about how we might could do some things differently. This is not meant as criticism, but how many of us sitting in this room would spend $300,000 of our own money without a specific plan, an architect, an engineer, somebody to help us on it? And how many of us in this room would own millions of dollars worth of property and not have a building maintenance and management plan for that? I mean, to me, that's an oxymoron. So I would recommend that we do a continued extension for a reasonable period of time, further investigate this, and seek the type of professional assistance we need in order to make sound judgments. With the overall understanding that this building be finished to a standard that we all accept, and that we wisely invest the money that we spend in this building, without any reservation about commitment to finishing. That's not the comment here. But this timeout is designed to help us finish it right, and to also lay a plan for how we do other buildings in the future, and how we develop that maintenance plan and $200 spent